Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shrajit BK. In this video, we are going to study about soldering, bracing and gas welding. First, the soldering. The process of joining two dissimilar or similar metal under heat with the help of a solder and a flux is called soldering. So, in soldering, the base metals which is need to be joined, not necessary to get melted. Instead, the solder will get melted, and because of the adhesive force between the solder and the base metal, the joint will be established. In order to avoid the oxidation, flux will be used. And we are very much familiar with electronic soldering. In the same way, in electronic soldering there will be a heat source called a solderon or soldering iron, then some flux material and solder. Similar way, for mechanical joints also, usually soldering methods are used in industry. Flux, it's a kind of cleaning agent used to prevent oxidation of metals at the soldering point. It helps the solder to melt quickly and allow it to flow freely to unite more firmly. It is usually made up of zinc chloride, ammonium chloride, hydrochloric acid, borax, resin, turpentine oil, etc. Now solders. Generally it is an alloy of lead and tin. It melts at low temperature. For strong joints, a mixture of copper and zinc is used, which has high melting point. So if the Rickard bond is should be strong, then copper and zinc mixture is used. Otherwise, it is a lead and tin alloy. So solder flows between the gap by capillary action. So due to this capillary action, the molten solder will flow into the gap between the joint metal and fill the gap, and due to this adhesive force, it will make a bond. The filler metal used in case of soldering should have the melting temperature below less than 450 degrees Celsius. This is one of the most major difference between solder and bracing. Here the temperature of filler metal is less than 450 degrees Celsius. Now type of solders. There are two kinds, soft solders and hard solders. In softer solders, these are the alloys of tin and lead. They have low melting points like 150 to 200 degrees Celsius. The chemical composition is 0.5% of antimony is added to improve the mechanical property of solders. Soft solders are used where the joints are not subject to heavy load and high temperature. In case of hard solders, it's a silver alloyed with lead or copper or zinc. It is having high melting points like 300 to 600 degrees Celsius, used to make strong joints and resist high temperature. So compared to soft soldering method, if you need high mechanical strength, we can go for hard soldering. This is a schematic for a soldering process. So the steps in soldering: the metal parts which are to be soldered must be cleaned. Type of job, whether light or heavy, has to be decided in order to select the solder. A good soldering iron has to be selected. In case of light job, the tip of the heating head of the soldering iron has to be heated sufficiently. It has to be then cleaned, dipped in flux and rubbed on the solder to tin the tip. The molten solder has to be then deposited on the joint. In case of heavy jobs, the surface must be tinned first by cleaning the heating using blowtorch. The job must be dipped in flux using a solder iron. The solder has to be applied over the parts. The parts may be then assembled and heated together until the solder melts. In case of corrosive flux is used, the solder's job must be washed with water. Now we will see what are the advantages, disadvantages and application of soldering. The advantage of soldering: first, it is simple and economical. Base metals are safe against metallurgical damage due to low operating temperature, and also the base metals are not going to melt. So its mechanical property, the thermal and metallurgical property will be retained. This can be operated at a low temperature. Base metal does not melt. Any metals, non-metals can be joined by this process. You know that in case of electronic PCB, we are joining non-metals. One part may be metal and we are joining that metal part with a non-metal PCB. This operation requires low power, less time requirement to join. It can be easily operated. And now disadvantages of soldering are: strength of joining is less. It's not useful when joints work under high temperature, because that time the solders will get remelted and the joining will be detached. It's not useful at long length welding. Mostly it is used in a very short or in a point wise welding. Heavy metals cannot be welded by this operation. There's a chance of toxic components at fluxes. That means when we are applying the flux, it will get melted. Sometimes it may generate some toxic gases which is hazardous to us. Now the applications are: it's commonly used in electronics, heating, air conditioning, mechanical, fire sprinkler and other similar systems, as well as radiator manufacturing, repair and sheet metal works. Also used in jewelry and stained glass work. The second kind of joining method is brazing. Brazing is the process of joining two metal pieces with the help of non-ferrous filler metal at a comparatively higher temperature, more than 450 degrees Celsius. This is the major difference between brazing and soldering. Here we are going for a temperature beyond 450 degrees Celsius, and here also we are using a filler metal, which mostly it will be non-ferrous. The brazing process is carried out below the melting point of base metal. That means the metals to be joined are not going to melt, and the joining is achieved by diffusion without fusion or melting of the base. This process is most suitable for joining dissimilar metals, and filler rod used must be made up of non-ferrous metal. The most commonly used filler metals are copper and copper alloys, silver and silver alloys. So it depends upon the type of metals which need to be joined. A suitable filler metal need to be selected. The filler metal is fill the gap during the operation. The brazing process also needs the suitable flux to prevent the oxidation of the base metal. And commonly used fluxes are borax, fluorides, chlorides and boric acids. So we came across the filler metal and the flux. The heat generation or the required heat is generated with the help of a welding torch, usually either oxygen acetylene combination or any other oxy fuel combination, or even LPG heating torch also used in case of brazing. The step-by-step process related to brazing procedure are: first, the surface to be joined and cleaned, and dust, oil, grease, oxides and other foreign substances are to be removed. So this is the figure showing the process schematic. So this is the material we need to be joined. Here we have a filler material. This is the torch, which give some kind of a flame, or it's a heat source. and we'll see what are steps. Now apply the suitable flux at the bracing into the carry out, bracing to be carry out. This is used to avoid the base metal oxidation and is help to flow the filler material easily by capillary action. And the filler material is placed at the place where the bracing to be carried out, like this. So here we want the joint, so we keep the filler material here. Even separately feeding, if worker is expert, separately we feed the filler material. By using a carburizing flame, raise the temperature above the melting point of the filler material so that the filler metal will get melted. And after raising the temperature of filler material, then more metal is formed and is flowed into the gap by the capillary action. Allow the filler metal and base metal to solidify. Then cool the base metal slowly to get a strong bonding. The leftover fluxes are cleaned immediately after the bracing process because it is corrosive in nature. Now the advantages of bracing are: the bracing is an economical and straightforward process. Bracing process can be joined for a dissimilar metal. Low gauge or thin section plate are joined very easily, but such pieces cannot be joined by welding. So bracing is used mainly whenever we have thin plates need to be joined. Metal with different thickness can be joined, but we cannot go for very thick metals. Joint produced with the bracing process are better in appearance because stress will not be induced, no metallurgical damage and distortion of plate which will take place. So the application wise, radiators, container and tanks, pipe fitting, heat exchangers, then air conditioning and refrigeration conduit pipes, everything can be easily braced, but it cannot be done by welding. Bracing produces leak proof and pressure tight joints. The disadvantages are: heavy section can be joined by a bracing. Heavy section cannot be joined by bracing process. It is suitable for small and thin sections only. Skilled labor is required for bracing. Bracing results in low strength joining compared to welding. Now let's go for a comparison between soldering process and bracing process. This is very important. Soldering process is used in solders is used in this process. Spelters is used in process. That means the flux, that the filler metal is used. Joints are not very strong. Joints are comparatively strong and pressure tight. Cost is less, cost is more. Chloride or zinc and rosin are used as flux. Ash or borax is used as flux here. Low temperature is sufficient, means less than 450. High temperature is necessary, more than 450. Suitable only with thin sheet metal. Suitable even for comparatively thicker metals, but not for heavy thick metal. Soldered parts are to be cleaned with water. Braced parts to be allowed to cool slowly. No need to clean it again. And if required, we can chip the excess flux formed. So these are the comparison between solder and bracing. Now we will see what is gas welding. This is the equipments used for gas welding. So there will be welding torch, then welding torch is connected to two gas cylinders through two hoses. One usually will be oxidizer or the oxygen cylinder, and another will be fuel cylinder. There will be pressure regulators which regulate the pressure or the flow rate of gas coming out of these cylinders. So the inside and the fuel gas will get mixed, and it will be burned at the tip. This is torch tip. So the heat generated at the torch tip is used to melt the workpiece, which is need to be welded. So based on the kind of fuel, the oxy fuel is also called oxy fuel welding. So based on the kind of fuel used, the combination which fuel is used in combination with oxygen, it can be classified as oxyacetylene, oxyhydrogen, etc. So the gas welding is a welding process that melt and join metals by heating them with a flame caused by a reaction of fuel, gas and oxygen. The most commonly used method is oxyacetylene welding due to its high flame temperature. The flux may be used to deoxidize and cleanse the weld metal. The flux melt solidifies and form a slag skin on the resultant weld metal. So this is the schematic for oxyacetylene welding. For all kind of gas welding, the schematic will be different. The only difference will be the fuel tank. Here, since it's oxyacetylene, the acetylene is the fuel used, so the tank will be acetylene. So it's connected to pressure regulator, then hose, then it is going to flame torch. Same way here, it's a oxygen cylinder and it's connected to torch with the help of through the hose. So there will be oxygen control valve, acetylene control valve. This is torch tip where flame is formed. Welding torch, pressure regulator, cylinders, Google, spark lighters, flex, apron and gloves are the required components for this welding. Oxygen is usually stored at a pressure of 13.8 to 18.2 megapascal. The acetylene can be stored, but if stored above 200 kilopascal, then it may explode. In such cases, it has to be generated. So either you can use a pre-filled acetylene cylinder or you can use a acetylene generator. To start the flame, the acetylene is released slowly and lighted with a spark lighter at the torch tip. So initially the acetylene is released first. Then the acetylene will react with atmospheric oxygen to form the flame. So C2H2 is the acetylene. It will react with the oxygen, which result in 2 CO2, carbon dioxide, water and heat. Is an exothermic reaction. Later the acetylene and then the oxygen regulators are opened slowly in order to maintain a stable required kind of flame. Some important applications of oxyacetylene weldings are for joining most ferrous and non-ferrous metals, carbon steels, alloy steels, cast iron, aluminium and its alloys, nickel, magnesium, copper and its alloys, etc. For joining thin metals, for joining metals in automotive and aircraft industries, for joining in sheet metal fabrication plants, for joining metals those require relatively slow rate of heating and cooling. Some advantages are it's portable and most versatile process. Better control over the temperature by adjusting the oxygen valve. Better control over filler metal deposition rate. In gas welding, the source of heat and filler metal are separated, unlike arc welding. This provides a better control over filler metal deposition rate. Suitable to weld dissimilar metal. Low cost and maintenance. Some disadvantages are not suitable for heavy sections and thick sections. Less working temperature of gas flame compared to other kind of welding, arc welding. Slow rate of heating. Not suitable for refractory and reactive metals. Refractory metals like tungsten, molybdenum and reactive metals like titanium, Zirconium cannot be welded by gas welding. Large heat affected area, because the heat zone produced by the torch tip or the flame is larger in area, so definitely it will affect the metallurgical property of material. Flux shield is not so effective. Flux shield in gas welding is not as effective as in case of TIG or MILD welding. The oxidation cannot be avoided completely, because here we are directly injecting oxygen gas for the uh, flame requirement. So definitely we are pressurizing the oxygen to impinge on the heat affected zone. Because of that, there will be a chance of oxidation is more, comparatively more. Problem in storage, handling of gases. More safety problems are associated with the storage and handling of explosive gases, especially acetylene and oxygen. Now we will see which are the type of flames which we can achieve by controlling the oxygen flow into this torch. When acetylene is burned in air, that means without the supply of pressurized oxygen, it produces LaSooty flame, which is not enough for the welding application. Oxygen is turned on, flame immediately change into a long white inner area. Long white inner area, this is one, surrounded by a transparent blue flame, this one, and it is called carbrizing flame, which is having a temperature nearly 3000 degrees Celsius. These flames are used for hardening the surface. Addition of little more oxygen give a bright whitish cone. Here you can say white brightish cone surrounded by a transparent blue envelope called a neutral flame. The most commonly used flame, because it has a temperature more than 3200 degrees Celsius. Used for welding steel, aluminium, copper, cast iron, etc. So neutral flame is usually used. If more oxygen is added, the cone became darkened and more pointed. Okay, this cone became more pointed, while the envelope became shorter and more fierce. It's called oxidizing flame, and its temperature is 3400 degrees Celsius. Used for welding, brass and brazing operations. So in refrigeration application, this oxidizing flame is used. The next kind of welding process, oxyhydrogen welding. This is exactly similar to oxyacetylene. The difference is, instead of acetylene cylinder or acetylene fuel, we'll use hydrogen welding. So the same schematic can be redrawn here, changing acetylene to hydrogen. The apparatus required for oxyhydrogen welding is similar to that for oxyacetylene welding, consists of primarily of two steel cylinders of oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen is carried to the inner tube and the hydrogen is carried to the outer tube. After the oxygen is turned on, the flame is adjusted to work in hand and mixing done in tip of the blowpipe, just because the gases enter the flame. Hydrogen and air can be used with the same sort of blowpipe for light work required at moderate heat, such as lead burning, but the process is much slower and more expensive than the oxyhydrogen flame. The difference between oxyacetylene flame and this one is, here oxyacetylene flame has a temperature of about 2500 degrees Celsius, but here it is lesser than that. Sorry, here this 2500 is for oxyhydrogen, and in case of oxyacetylene it is more than 3000. So the chemical reaction what happening is, two molecule of hydrogen atoms combines with oxygen, and the final product will be water plus heat. Oxyhydrogen welding is used for joining metals which low melting points like aluminium, manganese, etc. Iron, steel, copper, lead, zinc and other industrial metals can be welded by this process. The cost is similar to that for work done by the oxyacetylene process, although somewhat somewhat higher for most operation. So these are the applications of this process. And now the third kind is air acetylene welding process. The only thing is that here we are not using any external gas cylinders. Instead, only acetylene cylinder will be used, which that acetylene will be burned in open air. So it is actually it will look like a Bunsen burner. And the commonly used fuels are acetylene, natural gas, propane and butane. So this is simple portable type. This type of welding has limitation since the temperature is lower than that attained with the oxyacetylene. The air fuel welding process are used in lead welding and many low melting temperature metal alloy like a brazing and soldering process. Now we are going to discuss about some cutting methods, cutting of metal. First one is gas cutting method. So in many of the manufacturing industry, we have to cut metal sheets. The one of the easiest method is using gas cutting. So the operation involved in cutting there are two operations involved in oxy fuel cutting. The equipment used for gas cutting is somewhat similar to oxyacetylene welding only. The heating flame, first the flame is generated and the heating flames are direct to the metal to be cut until it rises to a bright red heat. So the surface need to be cut. That surface is exposed to this this heat generated by this torch. When it turn to bright red color, till it turn to bright red color. This is called the ignition temperature, and which will be nearly 900 degrees Celsius for cast iron and all. A stream of high pressure oxygen is then directed. Once it is reached to that bright red color, then a stream of oxygen is directed to the hot metal. Why we need this stream of oxygen? This immediately oxidizes the metal which is in that red zone, and the melting point of this oxide is below the melting point of steel. The oxide is melted and blown away. So in 900 degrees Celsius, the oxide will get melted very fast. So we will get a cut there. The metal is therefore cut by the chemical action. The iron or steel is not melted. The heat needed to keep the cut going is provided partly by the heating jet and partly by the chemical action. So initially it is heated, then air jet is applied. So air jet will oxidize the heated zone. It will convert into oxide. The oxide having lower melting point. Because of that lower melting point, it will get melted easily than the base metal. So we are getting the required cutting. So this is the chemical reaction. First the iron, oxygen, FeO, then plus heat, then second reaction, third reaction, finally this is the oxide of iron. The last method of cutting is powder cutting. Suppose we are using some stainless steel. Suppose we need to cut stainless steel. This stainless steel oxides having a property that the oxides will melt at a higher temperature than the stainless steel. But in case of other steels, what we call the cast iron or mild steel and all, the oxide will melt in a lower temperature than the base metal. So that's the method what we used in gas cutting. But here, since the stainless steel oxides are getting melted in a higher temperature, we cannot use that same method here. Why? Because if we want to use it, we have to elevate the temperature of torch. If we elevate the temperature of torch, it's like it's not effective. So what we are doing is we will inject some iron powder into the flame. This is a iron powder hopper. So we will inject that iron powder to this flame. So this iron powder will impinge on the surface, need to be get cut, and that iron powder will oxidize instead of oxidation of stainless steel. So stainless steel will not oxidize, but the iron steel will oxidize in the heat affected zone, and it will form a surface coating over that one. And so that oxide with the lower melting point is formed at the cutting area, where the additional iron oxygen reaction is generated and the cutting process is continued. So this is the schematic for powder cutting. So the only difference is we will inject some iron powder in order to form a iron oxide layer over stainless steel, which otherwise the stainless steel oxide will be melting at a higher welding temperature. Now we will see some important questions asked in the last years. One is compare soldering and brazing, mention their advantages, limitation and application. Most of the questions are asked for 10 marks. With the neat sketch, explain oxyacetylene welding process and type of flame used. With the neat sketch, explain brazing process. That's all about this topic.